Yeah, definitely. Arsenal should have done better. I think they weren't as proactive as they should have been in the transfer window, getting that quality striker that they would have needed to sort of get them over the hump or get them over the line. They didn't do that, and that has been costly. But there's also that issue of inconsistency with refereeing decisions. Please help us understand how Everton got that as a penalty, and help us understand how Fulham didn't get a penalty earlier. And even with that, thank God they defeated Liverpool anyway. But the inconsistencies that we've seen in the league this season, it's wild. Especially going for Liverpool and against Arsenal. I mean, mind you, I'm not saying that is the main reason why Arsenal aren't close enough or Arsenal aren't winning the league enough, because they have to take the blame. Arteta has to take the blame for not pushing to get number 9 to get the goals. But that inconsistency with refereeing decisions has been so costly, and it's really mind-boggling. I was scrolling through Twitter for most of today. Even some Everton fans were confused as to how that their own player got a penalty, because
I thought it was a foul for Arsenal
from outside the box. From us, how did the referee call the penalty? How did VAR not overturn that decision? That was totally outside the box. I mean, the inconsistency, Charlie. The Premier League referees always want to find a way to make the headlines. It is beyond me. I find it difficult to understand. But the good thing is, next summer there's now a new sporting director, someone with a lot more gravitas, a bigger name, worked with Atletico Madrid, worked with Diego Simeone, which is good, and has dealt with big signings. And so hopefully he can make the signings needed to help Arsenal. And at this point, it's not just about quality, but a bit of quantity as well, because the injuries have been really, really costly as well. We've seen Saka out for months. Odegaard at some point was out for months. Martinelli was out for months. Gabriel has been out recently. We've seen key players get missing at, important occasions that Arsenal probably would have needed them to perform. And so hopefully, if the squad is beefed up in the summer with signings in some positions, not just as a number 9, I feel another wide forward of Saka level quality is very important. I feel another midfielder is needed, especially with Jorginho leaving and Partey's future unclear. I feel these positions should be filled, and should be filled with some quality and, the kind of gravitas that they would have to help Arsenal battle for the title next season. I don't think Liverpool will be there again for next season, especially with Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving and all of that. But I feel Manchester City would have had enough to bounce back, and so they will be even deadlier. And so Arsenal have to be ready with the needed signings. But I feel this season is gone. I feel Arsenal could have done better. I feel referees basically were so inconsistent, especially against Arsenal and for Liverpool. And I feel injuries have been detrimental to Arsenal's title hopes.
Mutala, now you can comfortably make your point about Liverpool.
Rebel. It's not even about just Liverpool.
Yeah.
I would not take anything from Arne Slot. He's been brilliant to come into a team your first season and lead them to win the Premier League. I mean, his name will always be in the annals of Liverpool. I am just disappointed with Arsenal for all these years that teams like Manchester City have prevented you from laying your hands on the title. This was a perfect opportunity for Mikel Arteta. Arteta has been there for how many years now?
4.5.
4.5. Arsenal, there's this divided opinion or debate amongst the Arsenal fans at the moment. Some feel Mikel Arteta at the end of the season should be allowed to leave, and a coach who has the mentality of winning trophies be brought in. Others also feel that, he's been there for 4.5 years. He's built something. Let's give him one more season. It's that one more season that you keep giving the coach that gives you the hope that he may end up winning the trophy. But that one more season may turn into 7 years, 8 years, and he has still not won the league. One thing that killed Arsenal this season was the fact that they did not invest in an out and out number 9. Because in some crucial game that Arsenal have dropped points, it is clear it's not about the shape of the team, it's not about the tactics, it is about the fact that they do not have a player like Erling Haaland who will be up front there and score the goals for them in crucial times. That is why some of their fans are angry that they didn't invest in Osimhen when he needed a route out of Napoli. It was a loan move to Fenerbahce, to Galatasaray. Arsenal could have snatched Osimhen. He gives you that added value. Gabriel Jesus will not score 25 goals a season for you. Gabriel Jesus, the maximum he will score for you is 15 goals, 16 goals. He will not score 25 goals for you. And you know the thing about Gabriel Jesus, he doesn't even score crucial goals. I mean, the team may be leading 2-0, then he scores a 10. I'm not saying it's not important, but you need a striker that would score some crucial goals for you. In a tight game against Manchester City, against Liverpool, it is goalless. At the Emirates, you have a one chance striker who just banks in the goals for you. The Lewandowski type of striker. He doesn't need too many chances. That is what Arsenal are lacking. Yes, they brought in Mikel Merino. He's filling in the gap, but he's not an out and out striker. How long can you keep working with that? So Arsenal have disappointed us by not putting up a fight for the title. I thought when Mikel Arteta said over his dead body that he would stop fighting for the title, he was going to put up a very, very intense fight. But it didn't happen. They played this into the hands of Liverpool. Liverpool can even afford to lose a game against Fulham and still be comfortable. I'm sure right after that defeat, they were eating their burgers and sipping their drinks because Arsenal drew against Everton. Arsenal drew. So Liverpool are very comfortable. They are not under any kind of pressure. I am not taking anything from Arne Slot. He's been brilliant, but I feel this has been played into their hands because it's more or less like the same team that Jurgen Klopp had last season, who are still there. The Mo Salahs, the Virgil van Dijks, the McAllister was bought by Klopp, right? Yeah. McAllister and Szoboszlai were all brought in by Klopp. I think it was Endo that came. Even Endo came last season. Yes, so it's more or less like the Klopp team that is still playing. But Arne Slot has been able to, pass on his system and tactics, and it's clearly working for him. But I feel Liverpool didn't get enough, or they've not had enough competition in this year's Premier League. They deserve it though, because they've won some very, very important games.
They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. No, they don't have to wait for you to be informed before you challenge. It's like a Chelsea fan saying that. It's like a Chelsea fan telling you telling a Chelsea fan that 50 years they didn't win a trophy, and they tell you, oh, let's forget about the 50 years and start counting from 2003 when Abramovich came. Charlie, United and Arsenal fans don't care. The 50 years we're all playing.
Yeah.
So Liverpool don't have to wait for City or Liverpool to be for Arsenal to be informed before they compete for the title. They've done a brilliant job, but I'm disappointed with Mikel Arteta. Oneness after losing the title this season. Oneness. I think maybe he can find some respite in the Champions League, but it's not going to be easy. So if they don't end up winning the Champions League as well, it means that they've gone trophyless. It means Arsenal go another whole season without winning the trophy. Do you keep faith if you are the hierarchy, the highest hierarchy at Arsenal? What do? Do you keep faith with Mikel Arteta that you've been trusting for the past 4.5 years? Or do you take a decision and say, we've spent enough money? Arsenal used not to buy players for 100 million. It was under Mikel Arteta they paid 100 million for Declan Rice. Arsenal were not used to paying that huge fee for a player. So they've invested heavily in Mikel Arteta's squad. I won't take that from the owners. So what do? Do you stick with Mikel Arteta? Or do you say that, no, let's bring in a coach that has that winning mentality, a coach that can take us to the Premier League? I see Mikel Arteta as a fine manager. But I see Mikel Arteta also as a manager that does not have enough in his tank to take Arsenal to the promised land, where Arsenal want to be in terms of challenging for trophies. I don't see Mikel Arteta doing that. There are coaches like that, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he came to Manchester United. I saw him as a manager that could progress a team that could develop a team. But to take you to the next level like the Antonio Conte's and expect a trophy from the manager, Mikel Arteta doesn't have that in his arsenal.
Okay. It's not small bars.